If you've ever wanted to spend countless hours trying to lop someone's head off with a 9-foot claymore while you're decked out in chainmail, then look no further, because Chivalry 2 just might be the game for you. In this video today, we're going to talk about Chivalry 2 in 2022, and if it's worth picking up. This month marks the end of the 1-year exclusivity deal with Epic Game Store, so it is finally out on Steam, and with it we get two big wombo combos. The game is a crushing 40% off, and with it is a massive update called the Tenosian Invasion. This introduces 2 new team objective maps and 2 new team deathmatch maps, as well as a new playable faction in Tenosia. Think Mamluk Dynasty Saracens a la the Crusades under Salahuddin. Also, the game introduces horses, meaning you can now carve someone like a fucking cake, only this time on top of a horse, or skewer them with a lance. It's romantic in the best way possible. Huge shout out to Chivalry 2 for sponsoring this video, as well as Tripwire Presents and Torn Banner Studios. Now, I know you might be thinking this is a sponsored video. Of course, you're going to say nothing but the best things about the game. But nay, that is not the case, my lord. This was more to kind of get me playing a game I completely forgot that came out last year and totally flew under my radar. And I'm glad that they did reach out, because I've had a lot of fun playing Chivalry 2. But with that being said, the real question is it worth it? Well, I'm going to bring you through a journey of explaining the game on a high level, show off some gameplay, then give you my concluding thoughts about the game to help you make your decision. You can quickly navigate to the parts of the video that interest you the most by using the chapters in both the timeline and the description. There's also a handy link to the Steam page if you'd like more information on the game that is currently, again, 40% off. It retails for something like $39.99 US, and it's down to $22, $23.99 until the month's end, something like that. But let's get started here on Chivalry 2 in 2022 and if it's worth it. Here we are on the main menu, and let me go through some stuff really quick. So the game basically kind of feels like a team fortress in the sense that you're going to join a random server. You're going to have fun on that server, either doing a team deathmatch or a team objective match. And I'll give you my opinions on those in a little bit. But you have your progression, so your kind of how your profile looks, and then your armory as far as the individual customization of each nation, and then each specific soldier. Now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 types of soldiers, and within those soldiers are 3 separate classes. So this allows you to have specific things that you can do on the battlefield, and I'll show you that once we jump into the actual map here. But if I say select the knight, I can then go through different head types, different beard types, male, female. All my characters are bald and bearded, like myself, because how would you want to be any other way in life? But if you look at this, you can choose like different things for your helmet. And it's kind of cool. So the progression system here is kind of linked to the actual rank of that class. So knight is rank 8. Once I reach knight rank 15, I get this as a chance to unlock it. Or I can use one of the 2 currencies to, one of the currencies to kind of push through. So you have this currency up here, this T right there, and that currency is what you just earn throughout the game. It's the free currency, as it were. Then this other one, these crowns, that is the currency that you have to buy. Now, they were nice enough to give me like 10,000 of the buy currency, so just for me to show off stuff like this. So I really want this painted dreadnought helmet. So I can skip getting to rank 15 to spend 3,500 to unlock it, and I can just do this, and there you go. I now have that helmet. And you have different armor sets that you can then apply to your guys, different ones across every single type of armor set, which is really cool, with different heraldry that then matches that armor set, whatever it is, however you want to do it. And there's a bunch of different heraldry. So it's a really cool level of granularity and customization. If you've played Chivalry before, you're probably already familiar with the formula. But if you've played a game like Mordhau, which I'd say is probably a direct competitor to Chivalry, it has that same level of customization and progression that feels really good and feels like you're moving up without kind of giving you an unnecessary edge. Because that's what Mordhau does. Like if you don't have the hours put into the game, you won't get the very best weapons and you won't do the most damage. What's nice about the weapons in this game is there's a very good balance between A, S, and B tiers to C and D tiers, whereas the majority of starting weapons in a lot of these style of games are just trash. But for example, here in Chivalry 2, the longsword is one of the best weapons in the game, and you start out the gate with it. So there's a lot of really cool abilities to customize and play however you want, which I really enjoy. In addition to that too, you have the way you can just customize each nation, which has a whole different set of armor and look. Like looking at Agatha here, you get more of a French or British style armor, or looking over here, you get a whole different style as well. I guess it's more kind of, it's like slightly Germanic. I mean, this wasn't really that Germanic, but still, either way, you get a much different look. And even jumping over to Tenosia, like I said, you get a very vastly different look altogether. And this kind of plays itself out into different weapons and such. So now that we've kind of gone over things on just a very high level, let's jump into a match really quick, and I can show you the individual subclasses of each one of these soldiers, and we'll have a little gameplay going on, and we'll have some fun with that. Now, as we start up, we have the option to play in a bunch of different ways, right? Beginner mode, standalone servers, 64, 40 player mixed modes, and then the new Tenosian invasion mode. So I'm going to go ahead and press this bad boy, and it go ahead and puts us into a matchmaking process. Now, I will say there are two different types of match style. There's deathmatch, which just pretty much, you know what? Everyone's fighting like you're at a Walmart in Atlanta, and it is a wild time. But I really enjoy the team deathmatch the objective matches, the team objective matches, where you are progressing the map towards an objective. And this is what we're going to do right here, the Raising of Ascandir. This is in retaliation for the attack on the bulwark. Mason forces seek to something like that. It just already went through it. So we're already in the middle of a team objective map, so we can have some fun. Let's take a look at our classes. So, like I said, we have Knight, Footman, Vanguard, and Archer. Sorry, my bros. But each one of these has a different special ability right there. So the Knight, for example, gets a Warhorn, a Rallying Blare, boosts health regen of nearby allies for a time, and Unbreakable, damage absorbed by player charges item. So that kind of gives you an idea of how you would charge this up. But then you get the Officer, who gets a banner that plants a banner and heals everyone. Or you can go with the Crusader that gets an oil pot that they can throw. And this gives you an idea of how their stats work out. Their health, their stamina, or maybe that's their stamina and their speed, might be something of the sort. But either way, you have their primary and secondary weapons, throwing axes, anything of the sort that actual individual class has affixed to them, you'll see over there. So maybe you want to play a Footman, but you really want to use the banner ability. Well, banner ability. Okay, maybe I'm just full of crap, and I thought that this was going to be a banner ability, and it's not. But the Footman's got a bandage kit that he can use, throw it out, and heal people. But he can use a one-handed weapon and a sword, or I'm sorry, a one-handed weapon and a shield. So you have all these great different ways of playing. Or maybe you want to play a Vanguard with two big two-handed weapons. You're just going to town on people. So it kind of comes down to how you want to play. Even you can play an archer, longbowman in specific, to a crossbowman, to a skirmisher, having the ability to throw javelins and other throwing axes. So you have a bunch of different ways you can approach the game. So let's go ahead and jump here into a Knight. I'm not the most amazing player, but I have fun regardless. I don't really care if I'm amazing at this game or not. And that's what I think Chivalry 2 has going for it. You don't necessarily have to be the best player in the world to really enjoy yourself. And I mean, I certainly am, and are not the best player. Go! Now, it is kind of tricky to learn how to block and how to attack different angles and how to feint. And that's something that's kind of the fun learning curve of this game. Oh man, and I'm gonna stab you, and then I'm gonna chop you, and then I'm gonna hit my teammates way more than I wanted to. Good thing I killed an 8-foot squirrel, because that'd be probably one of the more terrifying things I've ever seen in my life. And you kind of get the gist of what's going on here, right? You're going to be and you can counter and feint people and get attacked by your own teammate. But I'm gonna kind of hang back. We'll go ahead and heal ourselves. Now you have bandages that are going to heal you up a little bit here. Oh, good lord. We'll just charge with our battle brothers. Oh, got an oil pot. I am on fire immediately. Good, I'm going to spread the fire everywhere. This is great. I have the herpes of Chivalry 2, which is fire. Oh!
You nearly have control of this side of the bridge. Push them back.
And coming out. Oh! So you can do ripostes, you can do counters, and that's a big learning curve, is learning how to do the proper one. And you'll find that it kind of becomes a shit show of a melee as you charge in, and it's about kind of learning how to stay on the fringe of the combat, or the left and right flanks, or getting into that rear line to try and capture an objective. And that kind of makes the game very fun and enjoyable. Oh, damn. So obviously with a longsword, I'm going to be able to do more damage, but I'm going to...
Capture the other side of the bridge.
Yes, help me. Oh, God. Now, if I'm downed, I can try and... you can try and, like, punch your way back to health by going repeatedly at their legs to try and, like, really... you can kill them, and if you kill them, you can get back up. Or have just a teammate kind of get you back up. And the game... sticks to these objectives in the objective play. If you play on, say, oh yeah, join that cav. Oh yeah. So now we're joining cavalry. So we have this cool lance, so we can do some damage with it. Now this is added, of course, with the new Tenosian invasion, and it is pretty spicy. Because as soon as you're, oh, and if you're deserting like this, you can't attack, so it kind of prevents you from getting up into their spawn and doing far more damage than you probably should be allowed to. And you get a speed bonus for being on horseback. Come on, do the damage. Oh! I have taken an arrow right in the chest. So you kind of get an idea for the hectic gameplay loop that's going on here. And I'm playing solo. What I think where this game really kind of shines, I think, is playing with not even just a group, just one other friend makes this a way more enjoyable experience. I find that I get a lot more team damage than actual damage. Again, a bit of the learning curve. And it's about kind of learning when to chop, when to stab, when to do like a heavy attack, and really try and get the most damage you can out of a swing. It really helps if you're fighting against someone with, say, a shield. You want to go with that heavy attack. Oh man, I'm just getting slammed left and right. Oh my god. Take this warhorn, my battle brothers. And it kind of heals everyone up, gives you a little bit of a support, not role, but a support. And the big thing is for me learning to, you have to like swing like this, not just pressing left click and facing forward. You kind of want to bring the whole momentum forward with you. That can cause a little motion sickness for you guys. Sorry, I apologize. Oh, sneaking in with those little shanks over there. Oh. And it's one of those games too that if you don't play consistently, it's like a depreciating skill set, right? It's like Micro and a lot of other games that if you're not playing consistently, you will suck. And it takes you kind of a couple warm-up matches to kind of get back into it. But nonetheless, I find hacking through people to be a considerable amount of fun. So let's kind of go through this till we get killed. And I mean, we're getting some good momentum out of this little life right here. Then we'll kind of go into my closing thoughts. Oh, yeah, there we go. For those in the background that can hear that noise, that's my Zojirushi brown rice cooker going off. Makes some of the best brown rice. That's not a sponsored ad. That's just a good fact right there. Oh! Clobber fuck on my bros. Now I can throw my weapon too. Like I have a one-handed weapon and I have a little throwing knife I could use and just kind of hack at someone. Now I can then get on this horse.
Your horse friends will be jealous.
Yes, perfect. Even my boyfriend will be jealous? Alright, cool, I like that. Oh! Oh, taketh thee, the head is shot! Oh god, no. No, don't kill me. I'm sensitive. I like the movie Notebook, don't do it! I'm over here shanking horses. Oh! Alright. Oh, I'm alive still, it's just the horse. Pop back into third person, I feel it's a little bit easier when you're brand new to the game, so you can see what the hell's going on around you. So you can feint too by basically doing two different attack directions. Oh! Oh! No, let me do... Oh. Okay. So now we've gone through everything. Let me give you kind of my closing thoughts on the game, and if I feel it's truly worth it for you or not. So now that you've seen me die miserably, and completely suck at the game, but I got some good kills in there. The real question is Chivalry 2 worth it in 2022? And I'm going to kind of divide this kind of review portion of the video up into two separate scopes. Let's talk about from a solo perspective. From a solo perspective, what I really like about Chivalry 2 is that you can pop in for 45 minutes, for an hour and a half, and immediately have a great time. You don't have to sit there and kind of, okay, I need to be locked in for 2, 3, 4 hours in order to really get a lot out of playing. A lot of matchmaking style games, whether they be first-person shooter, action adventures, stuff like For Honor and whatnot, you really kind of have to put a good amount of time into it. And that's something that I've always really not liked about games like Mordhau. Mordhau has this huge barrier of entry by virtue of the fact that, if you want all the best and really good and awesome-ass weapons, then you need to be locked in for hours on end playing. Chivalry 2 has got a really great system. Like we've seen this already, where it divides stuff between the free currency that you get from leveling up and the paid currency. And you're gonna just by playing like 3-4 hours, I unlocked all the major weapons I wanted to use for the class I wanted to use, and I was good to go. So that's something I really enjoy. I didn't have to go find a group of friends to really get a lot of experience, to really get a lot of things going, to make the game worthwhile to me. I got a lot out of the initial portion. And what I'd actually encourage you to do if you do play this game, play alone for a little bit, because you're going to hit a learning curve just with the combat. I always found that I'm going to instinctively go left click. Well, you can feint. You can press left click and then mouse wheel forward to feint into a different attack and learn how to counter or how to riposte. So take your time in learning the game at the very beginning, solo style, and I think you'll get a lot more out of your experience, because if you jump into the game going, it's fine. I played tons of these games. I think you'll kind of hit a little bit of like, I got hit with the windbreaks. I'm kind of getting clobbered to death here. And it is not happening for me. So take some time, learn it out on single player, and I think you'll enjoy it the most. So I say single player, I just mean on your own. So the game does thrive 100% on a solo experience. Well, I don't want to say thrive. I want to say it's great as a solo experience. And what's great about it too is it's $40 at its full price. So it's $20 off that typical $60 price tag that gets really scary. And when you look at a $60 game, you're like, well, you better give me like 150 hours of gameplay or it wasn't worth it. Cool thing about cool thing about Chivalry 2 is for $40 you can jump in, you can slam around whenever you want. It's a cool pick up and play style game, which I really, really enjoy. But the great thing is it's 40% off, so it's $23, so you get even more value out of it. And now where I think the game truly thrives is in group play. When I played Chivalry 1, what I really enjoyed about Chivalry 1 was when I was working at GameStop at the time, so my entire store had Chivalry 1, and we would log on together and we would mob through some matches and have a blast. And I think that Chivalry 2 takes that and makes it even better, because that barrier of entry when it comes to individual item unlocks and individual armor sets and customization pieces, it feels a little bit lower, which I enjoy, because I feel like I can get to the things that matter, that make my character look cool, or whatever it is, that I can enjoy the experience a little bit more. And I think that's something that I really enjoy, both from a single and a group play perspective, is that that barrier of entry, like I said, is so low that you can really have fun quickly. And because there's so much customization, and I feel that the mechanics of Chivalry 2 compared to Chivalry 1 have been cleaned up and tightened, the game feels a lot more robust, it feels a lot more fluid. It doesn't kind of hit those weird kind of stuttering points in a team objective match where you're like, I kind of don't know where I'm going. It has a really good flow to the map, and each team objective map I've personally really enjoyed. There's also team deathmatch, and like I've said, it's like going to a Walmart in Atlanta. It's a wild trip. I don't thrive as much in TDM because I like objective-based games, because I have a dog's brain and I need to have an objective to go towards. And because I'm not great at combat yet, TDM I really suffer at. I think that TDM is something that I would get better at once I got better at the game, but objective-based stuff is so fun, and especially in groups of people. Now, overall, what are the negatives of the game? Or I guess the things that I don't like as much. So I really personally very much enjoy the cavalry play. The issues I have with it are not so much linked to the cavalry play itself, but another additional learning curve on top of learning the game itself. Because when you're navigating on the cav, on a horse, it has not a different set of controls, but a different way to kind of navigate and swing your weapon and use your momentum and carry your hips through the swing and everything like that. So I struggled a little bit with cav play, but it's still incredibly fun. Like, I would die, but I would skewer someone 3 times with a lance, and it felt awesome. So not a negative, but it's still something that, hey, if you're picking up Chivalry 2 just to play Cavalry, I'm letting you know that you're going to hit an additional learning curve just to jump on a horse, because it's just a different style of combat. And me personally, I've been playing a ton of Bannerlord, so my brain wants to play, it wants to use the cav in the same way that the Bannerlord cav is, and it's not quite the same, so I had to adjust to that, and that's a personal thing. As far as all of the classes go, I loved the Knight. That was my favorite one. The Footman was really good. The Vanguard, I think, was my second favorite. I personally was not a huge fan of the Archer, because in this style of game, I want to hit someone in the face with a mace or take their head off with a Dane axe. I found that the Archer, for my preference of playstyle, didn't really jive. But I've seen Archers that were just taking people out. So if you do want to play more of a backline character that is really kind of trying to snipe people off of objectives or get someone on a horseback killed as fast as possible, Archer is definitely going to be the one for you. So if you don't see a lot of archery gameplay in this this preview here, it's because I personally didn't really thrive at it. So overall, my impressions of the game kind of come down to two kind of points. If you're playing solo, the game is great. You can pick it up, you can bash through it, you can have some fun, and then you can just leave if you want. You don't feel that lock-in like you have with so many other games in this genre. But if you're playing in group play, that's, I think, like I said before, that's where the game absolutely thrives. It's a game that you can lock 2, 3, 4, 5 hours in with friends, and the time's just going to blur by. Because, like I said, maybe it's a weekend, you guys aren't doing anything, like brews and bros, let's just pop on and play some Chivalry 2. And that's kind of what the game becomes. It's like a really cool, really fun, late night, hey, I got like, because the matches can be so big, 32 on 32 or 64 on 64, or, wait, no. It's a 64-person server or a 32-person server. Either one, because those matches are so large, you can join into servers with a pretty big group of people and have an amazing time. So that's kind of my overall impression of Chivalry 2. At full price of $40, I think it's a great bargain to have a lot of fun, solo or with a group. With its current promotion until the end of the month at 40% off for $23, it's like an easy pickup. It's something that I think you're going to have a lot of fun playing, especially with this style of genre. I think it does a lot of things right that this genre does wrong typically, and I think it corrects a lot of the errors that Chivalry 1 had in the past, and overall presents itself as a much better, much more streamlined package. The best thing too is this game's been out for a year, so it already has kind of moved through that initial stage of a bunch of bugs that break the game and a lot of matchmaking issues, all that crap that kind of mires the launch of typical online multiplayer action adventure style games like this. We've already moved beyond that stage, and this Nosy Invasion, like I said, is a free expansion onto the game. So that's just a really cool kind of 1-2 punch to kind of salt the goodness of this thing. But go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. Have you been playing Chivalry 2 since its launch? Are you enjoying it? Did you just pick it up with its Steam launch? Are you enjoying it? Let me know what your thoughts are. Love to see if you guys like it as much as I do. You enjoyed it on a solo experience, or maybe, hey, you know what? I really sucked at the Archer too. Try it from this scope. This will really kind of help you out. Any kind of tips and tricks, anything like that, is always helpful to anyone else who's on the fence about whether or not to pick up Chivalry 2. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.